keep your dog off my goddamn property. If it shits one more time on my property, I'm going to break up a light bulb and put it in a nice hamburger for him, okay? It's not a fucking public park. It's my front lawn. Alrighty. Okay. Whoa! Hey, how are you? Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, on a sticky Tuesday. How are you? 888-599-NICK. 888-599-6425 is the phone number. And tour dates, you can get these at nickdip.com, but I'll bang them out anyways. Tomorrow night, the Fat Black Pussy Cat at 8:30. And then this Saturday night, same place, Fat Black Pussy Cat, New York City, 6 o'clock. Friday, September 14th and 15th, the Arlington Draft House, Arlington, Virginia. A killer gig, an old movie studio. It's sticky floors and shit. People sit in big car seats, and it's the only place within 1,000 miles of the White House that people will laugh at anti-PC shit. I really believe that. Friday, September 21st, the Orpheum Theater in Flagstaff, Arizona. Go to nickdip.com for all your ticket info. Buy a Nick DiPaolo hat, T-shirt, shot glass, plastic hips. We have Nick DiPaolo wheelchairs now. We're getting in the Raggedy Ann dolls on Tuesday. Say hi to the Hanson brothers in there. We're missing one. You know, they were triplets. There you go. Look at the complexions on these guys. You look at them. Have they ever left that fucking room?
I think I got a tan the other day, though.
You got a tan the other day?
Just a little bit. I think it looks pretty good.
Well, it'd be fucking wrong. I'm sorry. You make Lily Munster look like fucking somebody.
My
Robert
mom
Parrish.
Said it looked good.
Just what the truth is, I can't say anymore, 'cause I love you. Yes, I love you. How I love you. Gazing at people, some hand in hand, just what I'm going through, they can't understand. And I love you, yes, I love you. Some try to tell me thoughts they cannot defend, just what you want to be, you'll be in the end, you motherless. Anyways. What's going on? I was in the city doing the Fat Black last night. The Fat Black Pussycat. You got to go to the Comedy Cellar, folks. They have the Comedy Cellar, the original one. They have the Village Underground around the corner. Above the Village Underground is the Fat Black Pussycat. Real bohemian feel. I've explained the room to you. Looks like a Sandusky rape room. It's couches and candles, and it's really... Comedy's booming. At least on that block, comedy's kicking ass. The Fat Black picks up some of the overflow from the original comedies, or the Village Underground picks up overflow from the original Comedy Cellar, and the Fat Black Pussycats is intimate, maybe, I don't know, 75, 80 seats, is a little balcony and shit, and I go down there. It's a place to work out new stuff. So if you're in the area, come on down, get mugged, get hit up by a fucking homeless guy. They're on every block again. Not as bad as when I moved to New York City back in the early 90s when Dinkin was running it. And there was this squeegee guy in every corner. You could be on your bike, and a guy would squeegee your face for 10 minutes until you gave him $5. And then Giuliani stepped in, and another guy who believes in law and order. And, of course, he was labeled a racist after 5 minutes because these squeegee guys that everybody fucking hated were gone. But the homeless still hang. And depending on my mood, I don't know how you treat homeless people. It's depending on my mood. I notice a lot of homeless people dressed fucking better than I am. They have expensive running shoes on. They have a leather jacket and shit. And I go, kiss my grits. And I use that type of language. That type of strong language. But last night, I'm waiting outside, smoking a cigarette, Fat Black Pussycat, and I'm a magnet for these guys. They look me. A lot of them think I walked through, years ago, I'd walk through the park, and they'd go 5-0. You'd see them throwing their dope and shit, because I look like a fucking cop, apparently. And they would laugh about it. But last night, I'm a magnet for homeless guys and shit. I try not to make eye contact, but I do for too long, and they come right at me. Same thing last night, waiting to go in before I'm doing my set. I'm on the sidewalk, smoking a cigarette, and then this is what happened.
Wherever I was home, and when he died, all he left me was alone. You're a bad mother.
Yeah, you are.
They better recognize.
I just recognize the dollar man.
I thought you were going to throw 100 up in this piece, man.
Look at me. You dress better than I am.
Man, you doing that on purpose, man. I told him.
Guy could sing like a bird. The brothers can sing. I've always said that. I know that's a generalization, but it's a positive one. Just like if you say they have big dicks, which I've been in enough locker rooms to realize that's not a myth either. But I'm just saying, they don't mind when they generalize that. That guy was he was trying material out, and he said he was so poor that when he goes to KFC, he licks other people's fingers. And that's when I which is funny. He ruined it with another one. I'm so poor I can't pay attention, so I almost took the buck back. But the guy could sing like a goddamn bird. I want to go, what are you doing, man? And you know that dollar is not going to Whole Foods, the fucking asparagus section. But he said he thought I should have put 100 in there. Let's not get fucking greedy, fella. But that's New York City. That, you know, when you first come down there, it would bother you, and then you get used to it. And but you know, cities like Chicago and other cities out in California are going to experiment with the universal income. Give them $500 before they even get out of bed. Yeah, that'll work. That's always worked. Because fucking free money for people really gives them that drive to get up and go every day. But I felt like Frank Stallone. You guys remember that scene in the original Rocky? Frank Stallone, Sylvester's brother. They must not get along because he gave him like a three-second scene. He had a band that sang a cappella, and they were around a barrel on a cold Philly night. Do you remember the scene? In Rocky, take it back. Do-do-do-do, you take it back. Yeah, 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 you put me down. Do-do-do-do, you put me down. Real nice. Cut, end of scene. Frank's like, what the fuck? That's it? It's like, well, you know, a little off the key there. 888-599-6425. 888-599-6425. But that is a slice of New York. That is the fabric of New York. One time a homeless guy asked me, and I'm not making this up, I fucking had half a burger left, and he said he didn't eat red meat. This guy's drinking Prestone at 6 a.m., but he's not going to fucking venture into red meat. That's how much we've pushed that on people, the red meat's so bad for you, which is a bunch of horse shit. You meet anybody who's ripped, they're living on red meat, it'll stay in your colon for a couple 100 years. That's true, but who cares? You're going to be dead. Right? Let it stay in your ass pipe. Who gives a shit? Coffee on this side, rum over here. I need, what do you call these? A coaster that's not made of fucking Velcro! Fellas? Anyways, let's go to it, shall we? What do we got first? Tom Brady being called out for being out of shape after a photo appears online. New England's quarterback, Tom Brady, remains at the top of the football world despite entering his 40s. He's coming off a season in which he made his 7th Super Bowl. I'm from Boston, remember that. 7th Super Bowl appearance, threw for over 4,500 yards with the third highest completion percentage, 66.3 of his whole goddamn career, which is almost 20 years, believe it or not. Yet when a photo surfaced of him shirtless online this week, his accomplishments didn't shield him from internet users calling him out of shape. I'm guessing probably Jets fans, Dolphin fans, Bills fans, the ones we've been fucking beating up on for the last 19 years because you guys field girls' teams.
Redskins fans.
Redskins, you're not even fucking relevant Redskins fans. They were good when I was in the mid-'80s when Joe Gibbs was the coach.
I know I'm not relevant anymore.
Shut it. I'm talking. I'm old and out of shape and somehow look just as good as Tom Brady, Jason Fagattle, or whatever his fucking name is, on Twitter. You people are the, honest to God, you want to talk about the lowest common denominator? Social media is just, and he does have a shitty body, Tom Brady. We actually have a picture of him. He does look a little out of shape there. Look at that. That's probably the worst I've seen him, but he's enjoying himself, a nice bottle of suds. And he's like, I got more rings than Liberace. What do I give a fuck? By the way, this is real beer, not light beer. He looks like he's crowning. He could have triplets, I'd say, in the next 5 to 10. That's actually not, he's grabbing his own tit. That's actually not Tom Brady. But, hey, can we pull up? I didn't send you the actual picture they're criticizing. See if you can find that, fellas. I hate to throw you a curveball during the show. But it's him kissing his supermodel wife, and he's always had a shitty body. He's had the body of goddamn, Carol Brady. Even when he get drafted, there's a picture of him being weighed in. He has no muscle tone whatsoever. What he does have is a football IQ of 350,000. And he can throw a football like he's got a bionic arm. And those two things have seemed to fare well for him. So 888-599-6425. 888-599-6425. See if you can find him kissing his model wife. I know. But you don't have to be ripped. I know the brothers are ripped. They live on fucking cherry Coke and Doritos, and they have negative body fat. Nobody can explain it, but they're pure athletes. Meanwhile, what's his name? Brady lives on avocado ice cream and fucking snow peas. He's got the worst fucking body I've ever seen. Look at that. That is a dad's body, and he is a dad. But there's no such thing as a dad's body. There's a mom's body, because when a woman has kids, physiologically it fucks up their body. So it's a legitimate excuse to look shitty, even though every commercial for weight loss, they always say, well, if you had a few kids, no woman is fat just because they're fat. It's because they had kids. But it does change their bodies. If you don't believe it, watch The King of Queens. And what was her name? The wife on The King of Queens. Compare her in the first season to the 8th season, or the 5th even. See what kids did to her body. But look at Tom. Jesus Christ. Talk about no cuts. Huh? You'd never know he was a professional athlete. But what does he give a shit? Because he is. He's the greatest of all time. But they're fat shaming him, which I think is horrible. I was once in shape, fellas. I know you're half my fucking age. But at one point, I put up that picture of me. I was 22. All right? Sure, I look like I'm going to do some gay porn in about 5 minutes. Right, Ryan? I knew Ryan
called it.
I knew Ryan was going to jump on that. But when they're becoming in shape, that's labeled gay now. Anybody who's got a fucking physique. Look at that. I had an 8-pack, never mind a 6-pack. Sure, I had the face of a Hispanic who would stab you in the ass behind the fucking supermarket, but okay, get it down, will you, before I catch too much shit. You know how I got like that? And this is no bullshit. Tom Brady lives on avocados and vegetables and shit. You know what? And this is the truth. I was living in Brighton, Massachusetts, and there was a Brighton House of Pizza right next to our building. Every day at 3 o'clock, I would have a hot pastrami sub with cheese, hot peppers, and mustard at 3 o'clock, and that was it. Nothing before, nothing after. And then I'd work out. I was working out at a gym, and that's the result. And now I could starve myself for 11 months, have the fucking metabolism of a fucking sea elephant with cancer. It's great when you're young, isn't it? But fuck, that was the best shape I was ever in. That picture got me a lot of ass. Some of it female. But Tom Brady, get off his ass, for Christ's sake. More rings than fucking Liberace. Some people had to obviously defended him. Patriots fans had to come to his defense. Somebody said, I don't know how anybody that's not a Patriots fan could try to use this picture to roast Pats fans / Tom Brady. If you think that's not up to par for the NFL body, shouldn't you be embarrassed he dismantles your team every week? Bing. Not to mention kissing a model, which I'm sure he's doing more than that, worth $350 million. Somebody else says, at his age and 6 Super Bowls later, I think I'd tell the critics to take a hike. Ooh, there's some strong language. I doubt they even played one down of football, period. I love how on social media, people, they can't stay on focus of their point. Nobody's but you never played football. What's that got to do? We're making fun of his body. You got to play football to make fun of his body? It's got a horrible. He runs like Marsha Brady, for Christ's sake. But it doesn't matter because he's been the greatest ever, period. So, Tommy, don't worry about it. You go home and go down on Giselle, and as Artie Lang said, Artie Lang goes, this guy has the best line. Goes down on his Supermodel wife finds like a rookie Mickey Mantle card, mint condition, $50 million in cash. So get off his ass. I love Tom. Somebody out there know how to give a good blowjob, guy or girl. The phone's hooked up, fellas. Yesterday, after 3 minutes, we had no more room for callers. Don't worry, I'll get to something in a few minutes. 888-599-6425. But I'd take that body. I'd trade, my body for his. I look pretty good, actually, from somebody in the late 70s. For his rings and his life. Anyhow, let's get into the race thing. From a USA Today is liberal piece of dog shit. I wouldn't let my parakeet piss on this. They always have pie charts and shit. But I'm going to read you an article from USA Today to show you exactly how dumb the lib fucking media is. It's about race. And Jason actually handed it to me like a real producer. He came in with an actual article that he thought was relevant. Very impressed with that, Jason. I was impressed that you gave me this article. I was unimpressed that you read USA Today. Your mom's a Republican, right, Jace? Get on the mic.
Yeah, I don't know why we get the journal news every day, and it comes with a USA Today supplement. And all she does
that's two.
Yeah, she
That's
complains about it every day. And I'm like, well, why don't you get something else? And she's like, I don't know.
She says, because we have a St. Bernard that shits 17 to 14 pounds of roughage in. 17 to 14. I've lost my mind. 888-599-6425, the phone number. If you want to chime in, help me kill time. All right. Here it is. Oh, it's from San Francisco, the article. So buckle up. Anybody who believes in logic and reasoning and whatnot, just buckle up. Put your helmet on so you can sit through this fucking liberal logic, which is an oxymoron. But listen to this. Jessica Gwynn wrote it. It's now a weekly, if not daily, occurrence. A video is posted on Facebook or Twitter showing a white person calling police on black people for minor violations or nothing at all. A new form of social media shaming that has exposed the everyday racism black Americans face and brought swift repercussions for the perpetrators. Tagged with a nickname, I'm going to read the article, and almost full, so. Tagged with nicknames such as Barbecue Becky and Permit Patty, white people who have reported black people for sitting in Starbucks, shopping at CVS. Yeah, they reported them for shopping at CVS. I could start right now, but I'll hold on. Mowing lawns, playing golf, staying at an Airbus, or napping on a couch in college dorm, are being publicly named, mocked, and in some cases fired for their jobs. White people have been policing black behavior for a long time. If they think someone black seems out of place, they know they can say something to the property manager, a store supervisor, or the police. Sociologists who study race say many black people in such situations don't bother to complain publicly. They say they're unlikely to be believed or their concerns will be dismissed, and they don't want to escalate the incident and end up in jail or worse. Or they understand when somebody black gets accused falsely of shoplifting, they understand that it happens so much at that store that that's going to happen. And that's why they don't make a fucking argument. Let me read on. Now footage captured on smartphones spread instantly on social media is shining the spotlight on how black people are singled out simply because they're black, says George Yancey. Oh, he's a professor of philosophy at Emory. You can't find a white person on Emory University campus because apparently diversity is not important. What happens when we talk honestly about racism in America? I guess that's his book. Black people experience policing. Oh, I'm just getting to the. They experience policing every day, and if it's just a look or a gaze, he says, what social media is doing is magnifying the elephant in the room in such a way as to reveal to white people the reality that black people experience all the time. The firestorm was set off in May by a white woman, Jennifer Schultz, who was re-christened Barbecue Becky after she called police on two black men for using a charcoal grill at a public park in Oakland. Police eventually advised the men charcoal wasn't permitted in that part of the park, so she was calling them doing something wrong, even though that's petty. I agree with that. But the YouTube video of the interaction with Schultz on the phone arguing with other residents went viral. 3 weeks later, the community threw a barbecuing while black cookout at the lake where the incident occurred. Hello, I'd like to report black people minding their own business, joked one meme showing a stern Schultz in the dark sunglasses, blue hoodie, pulled back hair with a phone pressed to her ear. On the internet, images of Schultz were inserted into scenes from Black Panther. But bottom line, there's been a bunch of incidents like this that you see on social media. Recently, there was some black people at a restaurant. I think it was Georgia. The manager chased them down, thinking they had walked out on their check. Turned out they didn't. It was somebody else. Blah, blah, blah. My point being, do you understand? There's 330 million people in this country, and that's going to happen. What they don't tell you in these articles, at like that restaurant where black people were falsely accused, was a predominantly black customer base. So it's probably happened many times. Do you think if we reported when a black person got away with walking out on a check, and I'm not defending these fucking idiots, I'm just trying to put it in perspective. Do you think if we reported every time somebody was rightly accused, black or brown, of something minor like this, it would put it in perspective? If you cherry pick these things, you're going to create the illusion that it's only white people that are racist. And for every meme like this, where a black person is wrongly accused of doing something petty, I can show you 500 viral videos where a young mob of black kids overran a grocery store or a fucking bodega. Do you get my point? It's all about putting in context. So don't act like they're being singled out. And there was this fucking cunty white lady out in California. This little black girl was selling lemonade, and she called something to do with permits and shit. And I agree with that one 1,000% Just a nosy twat or whatever. But my point being, there's incidents every day, every night, where a minority is accused of doing something. But you're not going to report on that, right? I'm just saying. And the mainstream media does it too. They cherry pick stories where the minority is the victim and the white person is accusing them of something. And they create this illusion that that's all that happens every day. And of course, this chick in San Francisco wouldn't see it any other way. You have to put it into perspective, okay? So let's not pretend it's just white racism out there. But you're going to create that narrative just like MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS has done for the last 30 years. You all know. You all know when it's a white victim, they don't even put it on the fucking news. But if they did, we'd get a little more perspective. It's the left. It sells newspapers, ratings, or whatever. If you don't know that by now, you're just fucking being intellectually dishonest, in my opinion. Any phone calls, fellas? Make sure that phone's plugged. Let me try my Bob Newhart phone. Hello? 888-599-6425. 888-599-6425. But who would have guessed? USA Today article, chick, San Francisco. I guarantee you she's in her 20s or 30s and has just been fucking brainwashed. There's more cases in here. Anyways, you get my point. Thank you Jason for bringing this in, because I was kind of sleepy before the show when you handed me this. But this is just a microcosm of, the media on a macro level has been doing this for years. They cherry pick the fucking stories. Black people and white people actually get along one-on-one, but this is the shit that fuels stuff. Well, I had a thing on Tough Crowd. We had a black girl on there, black woman, I'm sorry, and we got into it. We showed the segment was somebody that owned a store was following some kid around in a bodega, a black kid. And, whatever. That was it. He was profiling. Now, why do you think he was doing? That's not done in a vacuum. It's because he's had shit shoplifted by black kids in his store hundreds of times. So the girl was screaming how racist the store was. I said, then stop stealing. And, of course, that was a blanket generalization. But that's the one that sort of got me pegged on Tough Crowd. But you have to put it into perspective. Okay? Do you want to go to the statistics? Go to the FBI website. Now, as far as who's shoplifting and why, socioeconomics, you can argue that all you want. It's more about culture, in my opinion, than skin color. But stop putting shit like this out, because we see right through it. Same reason they don't mention a fucking, when there's a crime, now we don't mention the color of the suspect, which infuriates me. How many times have you seen that? Well, we know he was a male, wearing red T-shirt and white sneakers, and he's about 5'8", 160. You know all that, but you can't tell us the skin color. Unless he's a cracker, and then it's right out there. Are you with me, my honky brothers? You learning from this show?
Yeah, we're learning something.
I don't think the phones are working. We switched roles. We have Ryan on phones. Jason's actually working the computers and shit. And I don't think something's plugged in. I really don't. I mean, come on. We had no room for callers yesterday.
I'll get on it.
Maybe we should start calling them. Just call somebody randomly and go, hey, have you shoplifted in the last 20 years? Are you black? Call now. Or white. I'm just saying it. If those are the only stories you're going to show, yeah, you're going to create the illusion that it's one-sided when it's really not. So wake the fuck up, America. Could you please? Oh. Let's, Joe Scarborough. I didn't get to this yesterday. He's upset at Rand Paul for a sad and pathetic tweet about John Brennan, who's a scumbag, dirty cop. He used to be head of the CIA, who fucking hates Trump. Guy's a scumbag. You can look at his resume. He voted for Gus Hall, president of the Communist Party in the United States in the 70s, and he still became CIA director. He worked at the NSA helping collect phone calls of every American. He's just a fucking scumbag. Anyways, Trump is threatening to pull his security clearance, which he still has, even though he doesn't work there anymore. Yet he still leaked shit to the media, and that's the big story. And Rand Paul brought it up and made a good point. And Joe Scarborough, you know who he is, the fucking Morning Joe. And by the way, I gave him this nickname way before Mark Levin. If you're Mark Levin fans, on my first podcast, I labeled Joe Scarborough the fucking... He looks like the hillbilly from Deliverance. He's got those... There he is. He's playing his guitar. He has a band. There's Joe Scarborough as a young teen. Look at that. Those are his eyes. And Levin jumped on it, and I don't care because I love Levin. But he's upset. He's all over Rand Paul. He said Morning Joe Scarborough went off on Senator Rand Paul Monday over Paul's tweet announcing he would meet with President Donald Trump to discuss revoking former CIA Director John Brennan's security clearance. Scarborough repeated multiple times how sad and pathetic Paul's tweets were. Hillbilly Joe said, he's got a chance to meet with the President of the United States and talk about Donald Trump adopting the KGB's approach to NATO. Shut the fuck up. To kowtowing to Vladimir Putin. He could talk about so many things that most Americans are concerned about. No, that most Americans that watch your shit show are concerned about. About him undermining the FBI, as opposed to the FBI trying to fuck him in the ass and keep him from becoming president. Like we don't have enough evidence on that. The Director of National Intelligence, the CIA, and yet he's going, Rand Paul, the United States Senate is going to the White House to talk about John Brennan. How pathetic is that? It's not pathetic at all, you dick cheese, because John Brennan's a dirty cop. So is fucking Mueller and all the other Obama appointees that try to keep Trump from becoming president. We fucking all know the fucking arguments. And I'm going to read you something. As far as John Brennan goes, this is like from February of 2016. This is when he was the head of the CIA. They got caught snooping on Senate staffers' computers. There's supposed to be a separation of powers. The intelligence agency is not supposed to snoop on the Senate staffers' computers or anything else. But this is from February 2016. You had Senate staffers reviewing CIA documents at the same time. The CIA reviewing those same documents to try to get ahead of any controversy, and to make matters confusing, the Senate staffers then got access to the CIA review document, part of their regular searches. The CIA then spied on the Senate staffers. This had to do with the Panetta review. Remember after Waterboard, Panetta did this whole investigation on torture and shit? That's what they're talking about. The CIA then spied on the Senate staffers' computers and network to try to determine how they got the document in the first place. This was despite a promise from the CIA that the Senate staffers' computers and network were considered off limits due to an earlier incident. That resulted in Senator Dianne Feinstein, no fucking right-winger, accusing the CIA of illegally spying on the Senate. So, like I said, the guy's got a shady past. Okay, his Ron Wyden, who was a politician, I want to say from Oregon, but do we have that clip? I gave it to you guys yesterday. I don't know if you have it pulled up today. If you don't, it's no biggie.
Yeah, I don't think we have it today.
You don't have it?
I can look for it.
You can look for it, but he was questioning Brennan. He had him on the hot seat about this very incident, and people upset because Trump wants to pull some of these security clearances. Because after you're done working, you shouldn't still have them, especially if you go to get a job at MSNBC, CNN. Like you see Brennan all over Sunday morning shows, and he's still got access to classified information shit, and then he leaks it out, which is illegal. So sorry, but it makes sense. Other people saying, oh, it's just another distraction. What are you talking about? It's a legitimate fucking beef. Ron Wyden I have. See if you can find that. Anyways, it's a legitimate beef. So once again, people are going nuts about Trump. Let's go to Josh White. We're gonna go. He wants to talk about the earlier story, racial profiling a white guy. Josh is in Palm Beach, Florida. Josh, what's happening, buddy?
Not much, Nick. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
Good. It's Palm Bay, Florida, actually.
Okay, doesn't
Palm
fucking
Beach,
doesn't
about 2
fucking
hours
matter.
south.
That doesn't fucking matter. Go ahead.
Anyways. So a couple of years ago, at one of my previous jobs I worked at, this is during when Obama was running for his second term.
Yeah.
I was working at a movie theater, and we had the black. We'd always get on Friday and Saturday nights, the kids coming in, and they'd always be causing trouble. And so I had to escort 2 black kids, maybe 16, 17 years old. I had to escort them with a police officer out the door. And one of them says, I bet you're voting for, who the hell was running in 12? That was Romney.
Yes.
He's like, I bet you're voting for Romney, cracker. And I'm like, yeah. I said, what difference does it matter? He's like, he said, I bet you don't like a nigga. I said, I bet you won't vote for a nigga. I'm like, what? I said, what difference does it matter? What difference does it matter what my race is, how I vote? So, you know, I've been called and the thing is, I ain't even white. I'm a tan as hell guy, but I was, just because I wasn't black, I was called out.
Yeah, and here's the ironic thing about that.
At a movie theater, by the way.
Yeah, and here's the ironic thing about that, because how many people, black people that were polled, you know, they said, why did you vote for Obama? And they said, because he's black. That was their sole fucking and I understand it. That didn't make, you know. So, I mean, you know, they're being racist if you want to get technical, but I loved how he called you cracker and brought up the presidential election. At least the kid was following the news. I gotta be honest with you. That was kind of surprising.
Yeah, it was good. It's awesome seeing you, Nick, and hopefully you come to Florida again soon.
Josh, is your last name really White? That makes the story even funnier.
Yeah. My last name is White. I'm half Irish.
That makes it even funnier. I got a brother-in-law. His name is Rich White. Rich white guy. Thanks for the call, Josh. We'll talk to you, buddy. I like a young black kid going, calling a white guy out, calling him cracker, but bringing up politics at the same time. The kid's informed, but you can't generalize like that. If you do it for your whitey and you do it, but white guys get profile. We'll stay. I guess we'll stay on the race thing. But Jake in Connecticut. Jake, how are you? Welcome to the show, you son of a bitch.
How you doing, Nikki?
What's happening?
Not too much. I got into an argument on Instagram today with a black woman who told me that there's no such thing as racist black people. Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
And then I proceeded to tell her that if she has those thoughts, then she probably has no brain cells.
Ooh.
And I kept it completely vague and said that anybody of any race. I completely just lost my thought. I'm sorry.
Something about anybody's Well, what did she say to you exactly again? I'm sorry. It's contagious. I lost my thought.
Sorry, man.
What did she say to you?
There's no such thing as racist black people.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, that theory, by the way, could only get traction and have legs if white people help spread it. number one. And which is a crock of shit. The theory behind that is that you're the oppressor. And anybody who's being oppressed can't be racist, which is absolute fucking nonsense. I was relieved about a year ago. The New York Post did a poll and it asked a bunch of races who's the most racist, and black people in the poll said that black people are more racist than white people. It was a breath of fresh air. So, but that's silly, but, it's we really botched the race issue in this country. That's because the libs have been handling it. Thanks for the call. Take it easy, Jake. Good to hear from you in Connecticut. Let's go to Zach in Pittsburgh, who wants to talk about Joe Scarborough, and which I think is what I was talking about. I can't even remember. Zach, how are you? Welcome to the show, fella.
Good. Hey, I think I got the best name for Joe. I call him Joe the intern slayer. I don't know if you remember when he was a congressman.
Yes.
And Nick, this happens all the time.
Yes.
A 28-year-old beautiful young blonde intern you're rumored to be cheating on your wife with.
Yeah.
In your office by herself, falls and hits her head on your oak desk and dies. Happens all the time.
Yes. Yes. And
so,
and they never mentioned...
I don't know where this guy gets all high and mighty.
They never mentioned the reason she fell was that, Joe put his foot out and grabbed the back of her ponytail and fucking slam dunked her skull off his nice oak desk. But, yes, I do remember that. And she banged her head. Yeah, that's what happened. And he's still working at MSNBC.
Well, actually, I think maybe he actually, she might have put in one of his CDs of him playing guitar, and she hung herself with like her own pants, and they maybe had to like take the body down and smack the head off the desk and get out of there.
Zach, let me ask you. I want to ask you about stripping these guys of this security clearance. Which, I mean, these guys are known leakers. We have evidence of all that shit. Comey's out there saying to vote Democrat and all that shit. But don't you think once these guys leave, you're supposed to take their credentials just so shit like this won't happen? No?
I had two friends in the military. When they got out, they did have top secret clearance, and they possibly were looking to maintain it and work for contractors, but they're working for contractors like an engineering field. They knew how submarines or jet planes work. They weren't going to work for a media outlet or a political outlet.
Right.
So for you to retain that, you should, I mean, it's very specific, a technical, military or some kind of tactical, if you're transporting, you know how to transport fuel across the desert, different things like that.
Right.
But no, if you're going to work for a media outlet or become politically active, no, that shit's gone. You're done.
Unbelievable. And they're making him out be such a fucking maniac. Oh, it's all because he beats up on the press, which he has every right to. I mean, we know there's a fucking deep state. It's been proven, and these guys are part of it. And I'm so fucking tired of talking about.
It's not beating up. It's defending himself and calling out other people's lies.
Yeah. Exactly.
I wouldn't even call it beating up.
No, that's what they say. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate it, buddy. Those are the words they use. I love it. You hit Trump in the face with a bag of shit, so he throws some shit back, and he's the fucking, It's just unbelievable. It's just fucking tiring. Brennan, that guy John Brennan, just look him up. And look up Robert Mueller's record. Remember Whitey Bulge in Boston? That gangster made a whole movie. Johnny Depp played him and shit. Look up what he did. He was the head of the FBI in Boston at that point. 4 guys went to prison for over 30 years. Eventually, they were exonerated. But you know what? 2 of them died while they were in prison. So they went to prison wrongly. And Mueller was the head of that case. And Brennan just doesn't have the face.
We found the Brennan clip, by the way.
Okay, hold on. Doesn't he have that face? All right, he's got that face of every guy on an airplane. When you're about to go in the bathroom, the business guy comes out and he just stunk it up. Every time I see his face, that's what I think of. His clip of, I think it's Senator Wyden questioning John Brennan about what I was just reading about snooping on Senate staffers and shit. And
say that we spied on Senate computers or your files. We did not do that. We were fulfilling
Liar!
our responsibilities.
Cocksucker!
I read the exact words of the Inspector General and the exact words of the review board. You appointed the review board. They said nobody ought to be punished, but they said there was improper access. And my point is, in our system of government, we have responsibilities to do vigorous oversight. And we can't do vigorous oversight if there are improper procedures used to access our files. My time is up, Mr. Chairman.
And Senator, his time is up. They were snooping on the fucking Senate staffers' computers. This guy's a dirty fucking cop. Don't just take away his security clearance. Take away his driver's license and passport. Make him live in Shirley. It's a town in Long Island. You can get a 4-bedroom with an indoor-outdoor pool for $18,500 and a Mexican maid staff. True story. 888-599-6425. 888-599-6425. But that fucking Brennan really makes me sick, you know? He's
liar, whore, and you know it.
Trump also wants to take the clearances away from not just Brennan, but Comey, Susan Rice, Andrew McCabe, all the people that were trying to fuck him in the ass from becoming president. Former NSA, you don't hear that type of talk of Meet the Press, do you? Former NSA Director Michael Hayden. These guys are all proven liars, by the way. Clapper admitted to lying. Remember they said, are you gathering, they asked him at the NSA, are you gathering phone calls of like the average everyday American? And no, not knowingly. Turned out they were. So I'm just saying, calling them like I see them. The president is exploring these, this is, you know who, Huckabee Sanders, the one with the eye. The president is exploring, I like her, by the way, tough as fucking nails. You can't make her nervous. I don't know what kind of childhood she had with Governor Mike Huckabee, but Jesus, she's a cold fish. You can't shake her. The president is exploring these mechanisms to remove security clearances because they've politicized, of course they have, and in some cases monetized. I think what she means there is they go get a gig at CNN or MSNBC, you know, and get paid for it. The security clearances and making baseless accusations of improper contact with Russia or being influenced by Russia against the president is extremely inappropriate, Sanders said, and then she threw a karate chop to the guy next to her. But anyways, strip them all. Fucking liars. They were trying to pork him. We have evidence of that. We have it. As we said in The Godfather, we have it. We have it here. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Nights in white satin, never reaching the end. Emails I've written, never meaning to send. Beauty I've always missed with these eyes before. Just what the truth is, I can't say anymore, 'cause I love you. Yes, I love you. Oh. That's the Moody Blues, kids. Nights in White Satin. It's a nice song until this part. Some creepy guy comes in and goes, breathe deep, and starts going into some soliloquy from, I don't know what.
We'll have to check him out on SoundCloud.
Yes, on SoundCloud. Like I know what that is. Yes, you should. No, you would. You guys, here's what I like about the millennials. They dig up music that I liked, and they know their shit. They know the good stuff because their generation is void of any fucking talent.
What do you like from our generation?
Nothing. You guys go and watch people spin fucking records. How about that? You watch guys spin fucking records. I could do that.
One of our most popular songs is Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang.
I think you defended yourself well from my point. What is it again? Give me that again.
It's just Gucci Gang. He just says it repeatedly.
Say it again. Gucci, I want to hear it.
Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang. What else he say? Ah!
Thank you.
All right, let's lighten the fucking mood here. By the way, Patreon members, this is your show, and by the way, people are still signing up at the Michael level. So there's a handful of people go, kind of expensive, and people they go, these subscriptions really add up. If you subscribe to a bunch of shows, that's your choice. I can't. I'm just saying, and I'm not saying later on down the road we might have to adjust prices or not, but people are signing up by the droves. So I'm just saying. Larry Kudlow is my marketer and economic advisor. There's a joke museum opening up, the National Comedy Center, opening next month, Jamestown, New York, birthplace of Lucille Ball, so that's a bad place to pick it. She had cancer of the funny bone, I'm sorry. Has nothing to do with fucking gender. The only time she was funny was when she was stomping on grapes and getting in a fight with the Guinea Broad and maybe the chocolate factory thing, but Even her daughter said, I didn't find my mother that funny. The writing was, But it's going to be a joke museum. They call it the National Comedy Center. That's a hilarious. You can just tell they know what they're doing by the name. Curators and workmen. By the way, don't confuse it with the Hall of Fame, which they get into, the Comedy Hall of Fame. They actually interviewed me a couple of years ago. We'll play the clip in a few minutes. I still don't know. I don't think that means I'm in the Comedy Hall of Fame because it's really for famous people. That's the problem with Hall of Fames when it comes to an art form, because the most famous people aren't always the most talented. But they came up here and interviewed me. I think they asked me what I thought about an idea. I don't think they were putting me in it. God, I hope not, for their sake. Curators and workmen are putting the finishing touches on the National Comedy Center. Opens August 1st. It's got all kinds of shit in it. It's got a hologram of Jim Gaffigan. Mr. Carlin's 7 dirty words are plastered across an area down in the cellar. Right away, I know that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Ooh, it's blue humor. Let's put it in the fucking cellar next to the wine barrels. In this part of the center, recommended for grown-ups only. Really? Your kids are watching porn at age 8, but they can't hear George Carlin say tits? Recommended for grown-ups only. The museum explores taboo topics, foul language, and the question of whether jokes, for example, ones about tragedies, can be too soon. I love when people ask that. Can I give you my theory on that? You've probably heard it before. It's only funny if you do it too soon. Number one. Number two, if you wait, the people aren't any less dead a year from fucking 9/11 or whatever. They're not any less dead. I like to jump on it the next night, because then you'll find that one table out of fucking 150 people belly laughing. You're like, they get it. Should we wait? I don't know. Can I joke about JFK now? I mean, is it what a silly, and this is the woman that's running the place.
Too soon.
Yeah, is it too fucking soon? Upstairs on the main floor, the laughs stay mostly family friendly, so there'll be 6 people on that floor. Am I right, Ryan? I don't know what that meant. You pointed at me with a pen. What? What did that mean? Ryan just did this and gave me the throat cut gesture. Don't make me come in there and fucking give you the spanking that you need. On the main floor, you'll have the mostly family-friendly shit.
Daddy.
What's that? Go ahead. Guys, try fucking not giggling like little girls, and I'm going to read an article, but go ahead.
Oh, no, I said daddy.
Daddy, thank you. I don't know what the fuck that means in what context, but it gave me the creeps.
It's a millennial thing.
Okay, shut it, will you, so I can get through this? The boys are doing blow back there. That's part of their pay. They get Fig Newtons, $150, and some nice fucking pure Colombian graded shit. Other things you can see at the museum. Black trench coat made famous by comedian Lenny Bruce is among some of the things on display. I don't know. You guys like me? I go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or whatever. What's the burger place? What's the burger place you can go that has
Johnny Rockets?
Hard Rock Cafe. Johnny Rocket. I like Johnny Rockets. They try to capture the 50s, right? And Johnny Rock, they try to capture the atmosphere in the, and they do it. They take it a little too far. They have blacks and white bathrooms separated and shit. I thought that was fucking unnecessary. If you don't laugh at that, you're fucking dead inside, folks. Black trench coat by Lenny Bruce. But I go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they're like, oh, there's Elvis's pants that he shit, after he had a bacon cheeseburger and banana sandwich at 3 a.m. And I don't know, maybe I'm dead inside. I'm like, okay, it's a piece of clothing that a famous guy, I don't know. I think I am dead inside. You're supposed to get some tingly feeling to look at Prince's vomit. The $50 million National Comedy Center, a few blocks from Lucy Ball Desi Arnaz Museum, was built with private donations, as well as about $14 million from New York State and $2 million in federal funds. Well spent, I'm sure. Visitors can see some of that, whatever. George Carlin, they have his urine and weed and whatever the fuck. But they have a Hall of Fame, Comedy Hall of Fame. I don't even know where it is, next to the Bowling Hall of Fame in Cleveland. But they came up here to interview me 3 or 4 years ago about it. And do we have that clip? You can see a young Nick DiPaolo giving his theory. Go ahead. Oh, look,
Sam Kinison had a quote, "You don't have to like me to think I'm funny." And I love that quote because I'm not very likable. I know that, on stage. I come at it like an athlete. I'm a fucking,
That's wrong.
Bobby Slayton's the pit bull. I don't know what I am, but I come at it,
Pit bull with a yeast infection.
I've learned to smile more because you can get away with anything with a smile on your face. You really can. But it took me literally 20 years. There's nights when I go on, I'm in a bad mood. I'm going to let the audience know I'm in a bad mood. And there's people who really appreciate
Maybe it's your haircut, asshole.
in the audience, people who really appreciate art. I'm at my funniest. I was doing Governors in Long Island.
Ooh, you must be
summer,
big in the business.
And which is stupid. It's a Friday night. The whole world is heading to the Hamptons.
You're doing
I got to be there at like 8 o'clock, leaving from here. I give myself like 2 hours. It's only like an hour and 15-minute ride. Sure enough, I'm late. There's an accident on the bridge and shit. I get on, I run in there. The guy on front, the poor feature act's only supposed to do 25 minutes. He's been on for almost an hour himself. I run on. I'm furious about the traffic, my wife.
Whoa!
First 20 minutes off the top of my head of how much I hate the fucking roads, the cops, the asshole drive. Off the top of my head.
I don't hate the cops.
And there was people in the back standing. It was so pure and so... And Colin Quinn used to love when I get to the Comedy Cell. I couldn't find a parking spot. I drive in from here. I'm driving around for 20. I can't find a parking spot, and it's snowing or raining. I come into the Comedy Cell. My shirt's wet. Those sets are only 15 minutes long. 15 minutes of pure vitriol. But in joke form, I'd turn it into joke form.
All right,
somehow.
enough. I can't look at that fucking Buttafuoco face. But it is that's what they asked me about. I don't know. But you learn to use that fucking anger or whatever. You don't try to hide it. Those are the comics. That's what the conversation about who I like. People who leave it out there. You know who they are or whatever. I love all kinds of... Gaffigan is a great writer and stuff, but I prefer a guy like a Hicks or a Kinison or whatever who, went into subjects. But that doesn't mean I can't love Gaffigan and fucking Seinfeld and guys like that. There is a lot of room. But I saw Seinfeld being interviewed by Bob Costas when Costas had a show 10 years ago on HBO. And I remember this question. Bob Costas said, do you think that the comics who are more socially relevant and go after subjects that are touchy and can still get laughs, are they the real great ones? And Jerry said, yes. Yes, they are. And then he said, let me tell you why girls use so many cotton balls. But, I'm not a comedy snob. When you first get into the business, you become a little, a bit of a comedy snob. But you can watch almost every, even comics you don't like, and they always have one line in there. You're like, God damn it, I wish I fucking thought of that. That's the beauty of what we do. 888-599-6425. So that's the National Comedy Center up in Jamestown, New York. Oh, National Comedy Center opening, August 1st. What you do, you go up there, and then, you tell your wife you're going, and then you go right by it, and you go to the Baseball Hall of Fame up in the Adirondack, Cooperstown. It's all up there. Guys, let me ask you guys. You're in your early 20s. Who are some of your comics that you like?
I'm a big Dave Chappelle fan.
I fucking love Chappelle. I think he's actually underrated.
Really?
I really do. I think he's like a jazz musician. He's smooth, and he's really smart and funny. And, yeah, I actually, although I can't say underrated, they give him $40 million at Netflix to do a special.
Yeah, but I think his show, I think, was the funniest thing to have ever aired on TV.
That was probably one of the funniest things after Tough Crowd on Comedy Central. No, it was. Chappelle's show, fucking unbelievable.
Well, he showed up on Tough Crowd a few times, right?
Yes, of course he did. Of course he did. And, he's just smart and a great writer and laid back. And even he's bitching about political correctness. And when you're a black comic bitching about PC, somebody mentioned, he mentioned me a couple weeks ago after I got socked in the eye. Somebody, my family's friend went to see Chappelle in Boston. And he brought up the incident of being
mentioned
smacked.
the punch?
Yes. And the thing is, I don't know in what context. Maybe he said, I know DiPaolo, you fucking deserve it. But
But his new special, I thought was some of his best stuff.
He's just smooth and smart and fucking funny. And look, I like Richard Pryor, like most comics my age, was, I went and saw that movie and I was like, oh my God, I want to do that. But he relied a ton on Ray. Chappelle is just balanced, and Pryor is still the fucking, one of the funniest. Robert Klein, people laughing. Robert Klein's one of my influences. Absolutely, Robert. He lives about 8 minutes from. You know what? We can get him in here.
That'd be cool.
We'll get him in here. He'll go, what? No, I'm not doing houses now, unless I'm painting them. But he lives about 5. Fucking funny son of a gun. Who else besides Chappelle?
I like Stephen Wright too.
I like Louis.
Louis. Stephen Wright, another Bostonian. What? Louis, another Bostonian.
CK, yeah.
Another Bostonian.
Boston's funny.
Boston is funny. CK is as good. Here's my list of contemporaries. Louis, David Tell, Billy Burr, Colin Quinn always. He's just underappreciated. But those guys are as good as it gets, in my fucking opinion. There's more out there, but friggin' Louis. I just heard him in the car yesterday. I was fucking belly laughing. But let's talk about Uber. Apparently they got problems. I've never taken an Uber, by the way. I don't know. At least a cab driver. I don't know. Let me ask you guys. The Uber, they have the pictures of their license in the back seat and shit?
I've never taken one either.
No? Ryan?
Did you know? Okay.
Never taken an Uber. I have no idea.
What do you guys, fucking skateboard to work? You go out drinking? What do you do?
I fucking drive.
Oh, you drink and drive.
My parents bought me a car.
Anyways, I've heard all kinds. Every time I pick up the papers, somebody was raped by an Uber driver. Well, yeah, you got to, as Trump would say, you got to vet them first. Guy came over here on an inner tube, and 8 minutes later, he's driving you at 3 a.m. to your fucking apartment when you get 12 scotches in you. Next thing you know, your hoop skirt's up over your head, and you're bleeding. Guys, quit playing with the fucking buttons. You disturb me over there. Excuse me. It says Uber, the headline, Uber has a major vomit fraud problem. And what's happening is people take Uber, they get in, fucking all drunk, Saturday night, all fucked up at 1 a.m, whatever. And they, as we say, Ralph in the back seat. You power gack. You're in your 20s. You've had 19 drinks, and let's go to White Castle. Pile 7 pounds of grease on. Guy makes a couple of sharp turns, and next thing you know, you're losing your fucking lunch, as they say. And but here's the deal. When you do that, what happens is the driver ends up cleaning it up, and you get a charge a couple days, a week later. They tack you another $50 to $180, it said in the article, for you puking and the driver having to clean it up later, which seems kind of fair. But now what's happening is, because they hire such high-quality people, let's keep it. These drivers they're faking it. They're saying you puked in their car when you didn't. People are getting charged that weren't even in the car sometimes. And the drivers are using like stock footage. They'll take photo footage offline of, throw up in a car and try to use that. And the people who are complaining says Uber is always on the side of the driver, even when it's fucking not their fault. One girl, had to go to a credit card company and they took care of it. But is there anybody out there honest anymore? I mean, it's a big enough story that it's in the goddamn paper. But you're trying to fuck people over that didn't even puke in your car? Yeah, either $80 or $150. Photos of the issue, which are originally provided by the driver to Uber, are provided, which typically show vomit in the Uber driver's car. In numerous instances, riders provide Uber with proof that they weren't drunk in the vehicle, or in one case, they weren't in the vehicle at all. It seems that some unscrupulous drivers have been faking photos of vomit, either by taking and recycling numerous photos of one vomit incident, or by using fake vomit or stock photos. The passenger, unaware of what's happening, tries to contact Uber. The only way to do that is through the help button on the company's app or internet. Right away, I hate you. I hate any company. You want to have a successful company? Answer the fucking phones. Seriously, there are some companies out there that's their selling point. You'll get human contact when you call, as opposed to this shit. Is that asking too much? You're accusing me of fucking coughing up my cookies in your shitty Toyota and trying to charge me for it? Up your ass, fella. The only way to do that is through a help button on the company's app or internet page. The first reply usually goes something like this. I understand that it can be discerning to receive adjustments to the tariff after your trip ended. In this case, your driver notified us that during your trip there was an incident in the vehicle. Yeah, he tried to finger pop me while I passed out. And therefore, a cleanup fee of $150 was added. Well, your mother's tits, I ain't paying it. I think I have the fucking solution. Real simple. Body cams. Or your phone. Keep your goddamn phone on. Right? Take pictures of the floor when you get out. Am I right? This isn't 1886. Same with you young guys dating and how guys are getting accused of rape a year or two later. It's a perfect excuse to tell the girl we have to film this sex. Am I fucking... I brought that up on Red Eye and people thought I was a great... Body cams. I'm not going to bring my fucking lawyer and sign papers before I fuck you, okay? We're both going to wear miners helmets with cameras on it, film this whole goddamn thing, and yeah, I might spank it for the next 2 years to it, but it's also evidence if you try to fucking say I raped you, I'll have the footage. Am I right? Welcome to Salino and Barnes. What? What do you mean by that? I threw up in a car many times. 1978. I'm at Diane Keefe's house, girl I went to high school with. I come in with a 6-pack, it was Talls, Miller High Life, I want to say. You know, cans, 16 ounces. Or Michelob, I can't remember what the fuck. But I was like, watch this, I'm going to drink these in under fucking 35 minutes. And I guzzled them all, but I forgot I had like 6 pounds of chicken pot pie before I left for the party. Cut to me upstairs, blowing my chunks. And then my buddy Billy's brother-in-law came to pick us up. I'm in the back of the Mercedes. Luckily, I knew enough to put the window down, but I'm fucking power gacking out the window. I think I chipped his paint with some carrots, but wish I had some footage. Here's my favorite puking scene of all time. Remember the movie Life of Brian? You guys remember? You Monty Python fans? This is a good puke scene.
Merci, Gaston.
That's how, when you have like 12 beers in you, it's power gacking. Mike Szynski, buddy of mine in high school, had a party. We're playing poker at a table. My sister's boyfriend Eddie's there with his cousin, who nobody knows. We're playing poker. All of a sudden, just like when Adriana puked in The Sopranos, he just goes like this. He never moved his chin off his hand. He just went... Knocked all the poker chips, the cards, just like kids in the inner city opening a fucking fire hydrant. My cousin, my sister's boyfriend Eddie slaps him, and he doesn't move. He goes... It just kept going. Sorry, didn't mean to get off on a rant here. Some of my favorite puke
Was
stories.
it like, I see your 2 and raise you?
Was what?
It's like, I see your 2 and then raise you and then just puke.
Exactly. I raise you 2 carrots and here's some pot roast. I mean, power gacking. It was the fun. It's burnt into my mind. The fact that he never moved and went, ugh. He was like bored with it. He was like, eh.
I was working a show. We bought the entire town out of Tito's, and 3 of our cast members just stuck their heads out the window and just...
Is that right?
Yeah, and I had to clean that up. I got off for the next 3 days paid.
So what do you think with the policy? I understand, but even that's a little stiff. You throw up in somebody's car and they whack you $150?
That's too much.
Jesus Christ. What are you throwing up, virgin's blood and fucking kids' organs? $1.50 for coffee. Maybe it was your driving that made me throw up. You're doing 70 around a fucking hairpin turn there, Fazul. I hate throwing up. My sisters and my mom would make themselves, when they were queasy, they'd make themselves throw up. I would rather fucking die than throw up. It's my... I'm afraid of it. I fucking hate it. And I break blood vessels in my eyes when I do it. Do you guys? I power gack. My feet... I'm holding the toilet. My feet come off the... I'm almost doing a headstand by the time I'm done.
Never power gacked, but I usually just crumple on the floor.
You can't power gack. You're 111 grams soaking wet.
I don't have the core muscles for it.
Yeah, it's the core muscles you don't have. Hey, the thick ankle dog face is back in the news. I say the thick ankle dog face is back in the news. Look at her. What a piece of ass. Right there, somebody's showing her a piece of birthday cake. She's fucking... Bill never tapped that. I got news for you. You see, now she's wearing like a fucking house coat, like a... whatever. But you know what else? Somebody thinks she's got a life alert thing. There's a picture in the paper of... she wasn't very healthy to begin with, let's be honest. Settled things during the election, during when she was running for president. 8-inch shit stain in her pantsuit, stuff like that. But...
and all
and
of
little
the
dry throat. She had little dry
real
throat
building
problems.
blocks
Like this.
of our economy. So I need your help to do that. I also need your help to let me get a drink of water.
What a leader she would have made, huh? They're cheering her to fucking talk.
I think they're happy that she stopped.
I have been talking nonstop for weeks now.
And it hasn't helped.
So forgive me while I stick a lozenge in my mouth here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know what?
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Liar, whore, and you know it.
We have a picture of her. She fell right after she found out she lost. We found out. We have a clip of her right after she found out she lost.
When you are home alone, an emergency can become a tragedy. However, with...
Bill's downstairs, fucking in his wife beater, drinking moonshine, finger popping a fucking IHOP waitress from Chappaqua. I think I heard a thud upstairs. What the fuck was that? Hillary up there washing her giant muff. She was going out tonight. Guess she ain't going out no more. But yeah, they have a picture of they zoom in on her. It's a light. It looks like a life alert thing around her. Fucking. Let's hope so, huh? And let's hope that batteries are dead on that thing. Because I would love to find out. I would love to wake up and hear she passed away, not peacefully in her sleep. Not peacefully. They find blood and excrement on the ceiling and a pair of false teeth on the rug and shit. It looked like a violent thing took place. And then I'd probably masturbate to the autopsy photos. That's how much I don't like her. Your thoughts. 888-599-6425 is the phone number. But she's wearing a house coat. But I miss her voice, don't you?
What difference at this point does it make? It is...
Yeah, nothing. Do you guys see? Oh, all right, enough, please. I'm getting queasy. I'm going to have to throw up in an Uber car in a few minutes. Couple robbed by a group with a shotgun in terrifying video. 6 juveniles, I don't mention the race, were in custody in Texas following an alleged crime spree that one man said included moments of sheer terror as he and his wife were confronted with a shotgun while being robbed outside their home in Dallas. Garrett and Caroline Charton were captured on surveillance footage walking their dog early Sunday when the group pulled up in a black Chevrolet Malibu that had been carjacked at gunpoint in Oak Cliff. Here's the clip of the Irishman.
He let go of the leash.
Give me your wallet.
3 boys with at least 2 guns drawn were captured on a neighbor's surveillance camera, knocking off Garrett's glasses as he jumped on top.
How about they go, he let go of the leash? They have to point out that the husband fucked up and let go. Seriously, that's the shit that I pick up on that nobody fucking picks up on. They were walking the dog, and he let go of the leash. Like a commercial where the husband's the fucking... Yeah, he let go of the leash. He was being surrounded by 4 black guys with fucking shotguns. Yeah, it doesn't matter what Fluffy's life. Who gives a fuck? Let go of the leash. I would have swung the dog like this to protect myself.
And now Peter's going to give him shit, too.
Of course. I wonder if the newscast is going to catch shit because they said boys. Anyways, and this is not... This is why I found this relevant, actually. Before the robbery, before that robbery, police told the Dallas Morning News. The group surrounded a man walking in Oak Bluff and punched him while demanding he hand over money. They also allegedly robbed and beat a Domino's pizza delivery driver after targeting the couple. So this will put it into perspective. A girl in San Francisco who wrote this stupid fucking article about white people pointing out wrongly sometimes when they think something's amiss, and calling them white people racist. If because this shit goes on all the time. If we reported all the news, the racial news all the time, you wouldn't be writing stupid fucking articles like that. But here's why it's relevant. That's a Dallas suburb. And I was saying, well, why does that sound familiar to me? And I remember doing this on my radio show. Obama, this is the headlines, May of 2016. Obama using federal funds to push urban poor into middle-class suburbs. As reported by the New York Post, Obama's housing secretary Julian Castro is looking to create, this is May of 2016, remember, to create a new program that will reallocate funding for Section 8 housing to punish suburbs for being too white and too wealthy. Castro's plan is to supersize the federal Section 8 housing vouchers that provide rental funding for low-income people. The increased vouchers are intended to help poor people move out from increasingly expensive urban districts to the suburban areas that are currently middle and upper middle class. Translation, white. The federal plan even calls for mobility counselors, to help and encourage welfare recipients to move from gentrifying inner-city areas out to the far-flung low-density suburbs, where thinner public transport networks will make it more difficult for poor people to reach jobs, schools, and government services. But let's get to the meat of the issue. Castro plans to rush this program out. Again, this is May of 2016, just ahead of Obama's departure, even though a pilot program in Dallas has been fingered for the bringing crime into the suburbs. But as Paul Sperry reported, HUD has already tried this policy with expected and disastrous results. In Texas, a similar scheme caused crime rates to soar in the once tranquil suburbs of Dallas after 2011. HUD had shifted Section 8 housing vouchers to the Dallas suburbs, sending new people and new crime to the suburbs. Now Dallas has one of the highest murder rates in the nation and recently had to call in state troopers to help control it. For the first time, violent crime has shifted to the Tony bedroom communities north of the city. 3 suburbs that have seen the most Section 8 transfers, Frisco, Plano, and McKinney, have suffered unprecedented spikes in rapes, assaults, and break-ins, including home invasions. That's also relevant to what's going on with sanctuary cities. So once again, social engineering done by jerk-offs like Obama and his fucking minions, Castro, backfired. And it reminded me of that when I read this fucking article, because they're bean counting. Can you imagine having the nerve to go, your town's too white? They did it to the town I fucking live in. We were mentioned in an article in the New York Times up here in Westchester. So that's absolute horseshit. Talk about racist. Your town's too white. If you're black and you can afford to live here, nobody's going to stop you. We'll have you. What are you talking about? That's different than taking Section 8 housing and you see the results, okay? That's what that clip reminded me of. Disgraziat, as they say. You can't social engineer. And you think Obama, how about Bill Cosby? Did he live in a black neighborhood after he got rich? Or Julian Castro, these jerk-offs, Ted Kennedy, that come up with this shit? They live in gated communities. That's where they fucking live. You know that. They're full of shit.
You fucking hypocrite.
Exactly. Like Norman Lear, who created All in the Family and used to like to point out how racist Archie was and shit. He lives in Brentwood, California his whole life. It's like 88% white. That's just hypocrisy, folks. If you can afford to live in a nice town, good for you. We're past that now.
As long as how you make a living doesn't interfere with me, I got no problem.
That's it. I was going to do a story about a man arrested for exercising naked at Planet Fitness Gym, but it's in New Hampshire. Doesn't everybody do that up there? Guy's doing yoga. That's what you want to see, huh? You're a 20-year-old hot chick. Want to see a guy, he looks like a white homeless guy with his Great Dane balls doing downward-facing fucking dog. And what are some of the other terms? Warrior 1.
Inverted pyramid.
Inverted pyramid. What's that?
I don't know. That's just a journalism terminology.
Boy, you get nervous on the mic, don't you, Jason?
Just a little bit. If you could see how red my face is right now. We have to color adjust for just how embarrassed I get.
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert!
Anyways. I've had it fucking enough. Fat Black Pussycat tomorrow night. That's down in the Village in New York City. And Saturday night. Saturday night show 6 o'clock start. Tomorrow night 8:30. I'll have to bolt out of here. I have 2 jobs now and a paper route, and I sell weed to school children in Thornwood. I think that's it. I think we've covered everything. You know, again, nickdip.com. You can listen to the show. You can watch it. It's a beautiful thing. Today is a premium show for Patreon members only. Go to patreon.com, or you go to nickdip.com to sign up. We've made it very easy for you. Look at that backdrop. I still get semi-hard when I look at that. I think of the 12 Guatemalans that painted that. That's it. You guys, people still signing up. I couldn't be happier. Things are going very nicely. Let's keep the momentum going, shall we? And remember, you think it, I'll fucking say it. You're welcome. And you know I love you. What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on now, Ryan. What are you all up on the junk?
I love you.
How can you forget this guy? He's your idol.
Construct of my life.
He's got a poster of him.
Not a tavern.
And don't keep the camera on me for 20 seconds. 5 to 8.
I love you because you have done so much to make me happy.
This is what makes me sleep at night.
You have done it without a word, without a touch.
We're going to put up
without
hockey
a
fights
sign.
next time while this is playing.
You have done it by just
I don't want them staring at me anymore.
being yourself. Perhaps after all, that is what love
Fucking
means.
coaster.
And that is why